Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so at least we are coming to
Good
the end, but
morning.
this is just the beginning. Yeah, so that you can start documenting. And when we go to class, at least now we'll have a better, we'll have fun in class. Yeah. What these sessions have actually done to me this time, my students have been asking for cases. So as I was going through them, I was like, okay, so what else can I do? Yeah. So I felt like, so I've really been looking for cases which I can use now to teach even my undergraduates, so that I don't just go in with problem sheets, figures which have already been, the clean problems. Yeah. You have been given figures, but where these figures come from, the students normally find it a little bit difficult. I mean, they do not really, when you take them into word problems, they end up having issues. So that is what I want to do this time. So I don't know what each one of you has decided to do, but I believe at least there will be a change, okay, or at least an improvement. Good. So today I want to do a number of things. I'll will go through the lesson planning using Bob's, and then I will look at the PSF, the framework, just to show you people, the ones who want to become fellows, what you need to do. Then I look at the teaching portfolio in brief, just the outline. And for people who are applying for senior lecturer, at least, yeah, I was given the requirements the other day so I can share with you. And then David will take you through the Padlet, maybe the last 10 minutes, or if you still have time, he can actually, I mean, you can continue with him. I don't know whether Dr. Masharia is on, but in case he joins, he had said he will, then he can show us how he uses the Padlet in class. So it's also good to incorporate technology. We have the technology, we cannot run away from it. Yeah, so that is also another way of making our life in class different. Yeah. I don't know whether Tabitha is here. I remember one time Tabitha was my student some many years ago, Dr. Njuguna. And there's a day she met me and she asked me, Dr. Omingo, how do you ensure that you don't get bored with teaching? Yeah. So this continuous professional development can really make a big difference. So those of you who have joined, you can be sure that for the next, I mean, you can teach for as many years as you want, as long as you keep renovating, rejuvenating, and all that. Okay, yeah, good. So with that introduction, or let me share the Bobs. Some of you have already gone through the Bobs. This is a 3-day workshop. So the instructional skills workshop. So in case you see the Center of Teaching, when it advertises, you can join. It is a 3-day workshop, and you need to prepare 3 10-minute lessons over time, over the 3 days. So the first day, it's normally very difficult for people to teach in 10 minutes, but in the subsequent days, it becomes easier. So the idea is if you cannot teach something in 10 minutes, then even in 1 hour, you'll not be in a position to do because you'll go overboard. So that is the idea behind the 10-minute, but that is a discussion for another day. So what I would like us to do today is to look at Bob's, just to make sure that we don't walk to class. The story I was telling you, I mean, my introduction was not just for fun, but we have this bridging, yeah? So when it comes to a lesson, and those of you who let's say Catholics, if you've been keen, and it's normally, it really comes out, okay, I think priests have been taken through pedagogy, yeah? And what they normally do, they start with a story to hook you in. Yeah, and if you listen to that story nicely, it will actually be linked to what he's going to preach. Okay? Yeah. So the same thing applies even with us. When we walk to class, do we just start teaching the content, or do we think about something that can hook in the student? It could be just a chat, just chatting. Yeah. A video, it could be a story. Those of us who are good in storytelling, then you can do that. Yeah. So this is the structure. And for those of us who have read through, you start off with a bridging. Okay. And when you are doing this practically, at times even the bridging comes in the middle. Okay, so it doesn't have to be at the beginning, because maybe you go to class, you are recapping the previous class. So the question is, when you start another topic, then always start with something that will hook in the students. Then the learning outcome is important. I think when we started off again this session, I talked of what we are going to do. Yeah, so what is it? So be very clear as you are walking to class. I normally do that. As you are walking to class, and these days Strathmore, from phase 1 to MSB to STM, just, okay, what is it? What are these 2 things or 3 things that students need to learn by the end of the session? Yeah. So basically that will be the outcome. And then we have the pre-assessment. Yeah, so those of you who are trained as teachers, or even those of us who have not been trained as teachers, you're saying that these students do not lack the knowledge. Yeah. They know something. And if they do not know, then make sure that they know something before you walk to class. And that is why those of us who are in class, in the last class, we had the acquisition. So using the flipped classroom, send the material before. I believe I have seen some of you are very good at going through this material. You've even given me feedback. Raymond, that is very good of you. Yeah, so there are those students who will have something. They would have read, they would have watched the videos. Last time we saw Patrick had watched the 6 C's and a number of you. Yeah, so don't just assume that people do not know. Like this time I should actually have asked you what it is, but because of time. Yeah, so pre-assessment, just find out, what do students know, what do they not know. For example, I should ask, how do you structure your lesson? And I believe many of you will come up with different ways. And then I say, okay, as much as you have those different ways, we can still structure it in this way. Okay, yeah. So don't just assume that students do not know. And then this is the most important, the participatory learning. So this is where we engage. This is where you transform the data into information. This is where we process. You see, if you're using flipped classroom, you've transferred the material. So this is where we should really be. How do you engage students so that they can, remember good teaching, they can learn responsibly, thoughtfully, and meaningfully. Yeah. So at this particular point, that is where you really want to engage them, not just to engage them for the sake of engaging them, but you want to engage them in such a way that they end up with, they learn, they transform, they are transformed, okay? Whatever you're teaching becomes meaningful. And then at the end of it all, we'll have the post-assessment. So this is where the 1-minute paper comes in, the 2 stars and 1 wish. Yeah, you can ask students a number of things. And then it is always good to summarize. If you're not able to summarize now, maybe because the other lecturer is waiting at the door, when you come in, please start with the summary. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be at the end. And with that, I think I want to stop there so you can read this. And I think David had projected this. Everyone should be having this. If not, I was not able to get to the SU e-learning. I don't know why. My password was not working, but I've already uploaded on the SBS. So any question on this, on the bobs, before we go to, or any reflection, those of us who, or anything else that you would like us to add?
Dr. Omingo,
Yes.
I can't see where to do but anyway, I can't see where to put my hand. So here I am speaking.
Okay.
So what I know, I used to see my mother do these lesson plans when she was a teacher. So it is somewhere in my head. She would start the semester with different lesson plans. But one of the things that I was reflecting when reading what you had shared is I actually have to do this for every class, because I know we have the course outline, which says everything. But then I have to go doing this for every class, because sometimes I actually would feel sorry for her, because we used to do the lesson plans ourselves. We would fill them up. This is so much work. I mean, why can't we just, since you already have the general objective of the class and you just quickly say, okay, this lesson is going to be X, Y, Z. Do I really have to do all the lesson plans for all the lessons?
Okay. I don't know how to, it's not a lot of work. The thing is, once you do it the first round, for example, if you're teaching a new unit, it would be good actually to prepare for each and every class. But as I said, you don't even need to write this down. As you are walking from phase one, if your staff, you sit in phase one and you're walking to MSB, you can start thinking of, okay, what will be my bridging? You don't really need to write down, so that when you get to class, you have a structure. Yeah, so don't give yourself a lot of work, but when you're teaching a unit the first time, it would be good to really think through. But for example, like a learning outcome, and anyway, I don't know. You don't need to write them down, but it's good to think about them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, as you say, so the problem with these abbreviations, there are too many. There is in the slide, just if you can bring back that outline, because there's the first four ideas, which starts with bridging. I'm just trying to get a nice acronym for me to remember. There's bridging, and then
you just use this. This is what we do, Bobs.
Oh, it's Bobs.
Yeah,
but Bobs is okay, so because here you have bridging, then you have outcome, and you have something else. But Bob stands
this is
for
pre-assessment. Okay.
Pre-assessment.
So okay.
Bridging.
Okay.
O is what? Outcome.
Okay. Yeah. P
is the pre-assessment. The first P is pre-assessment.
Okay.
Oh, and then
the next
participatory learning, and then post-assessment, and then S was what? Summary.
Okay.
Yeah, summary.
Good. That is it. Yeah. So that is why when you hear Bobs, yeah. So you are basically using this. Yeah. And as we've said, those of us who have done this practically, the sessions we've had, when people arrange them, you'll find that they don't follow this. They don't need to flow like that, but at least have a bridging. Yeah. So begin the learning cycle by gaining the learner's attention, building motivation, and explaining why the lesson outcome is important. Yeah. So why the lesson? Don't just walk in and start today, we do this, and then some of us maybe dictate notes, or you're already calculating a sum on the board. Yeah, so students are wondering, what is it that we are going to do? And then just come up with a specific outcome, the what. Then you can also find out what is it that you know about this. Yeah. And then the participatory, yes, okay, Raymond, you have.
Yeah. The other question is related to last week's, which sometimes the attitude for a university lecturer is to imagine that, look, you guys just follow me wherever I am. You are the university students. You should know what you're supposed to do. I am not here to be nice this way and follow Bob's. I'll just start from here and start from there. And since you're a university student, you're meant to catch up. And I think it's an attitude we've received a lot from the public system. How do we recalibrate and because this is an element of humility, really, and an element of wanting to really engage with the student. So, but many of us have this attitude that, look, university is not a place for spoon feeding anyone. If I start from X or Z, you follow, catch up, and I don't care. What are your thoughts and comments?
Can I ask somebody to comment on this? Let's see. Anybody who wants to comment on what Raymond has said? Let me see these names. Wilson, you've been with us for Weibo. You've been with us.
Misheni has raised his hands. I think he wants to comment.
Okay, Patrick. Okay, Patrick, say something then. And unmute yourself. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I may not have actually a comment on what Dr. Motura said, but maybe I may share my own maybe experience in this because at some point I may say that it has I have kept on revising this. I may not have used BOPS as it is, but some elements of it, especially the pre-assessments and the participatory, and also the post-assessment and summary, I can be sure that I've used those, and also bridging in, but coming, as Dr. Omingo has said, somewhere in the middle. So, like in one case, when I was teaching the critical thinking, and this basic, the topic was on knowledge, what is, how do you get to know? And of course, the relationship between knowing and thinking. So, and I really tried to, with now the pre-auth is now being come as the assessment. I began by asking my students what they know about knowledge. I mean, what is to know, and how do they know that they know? It became a very difficult question for some of them, but at least it was a nice breaker because it all boiled down to asking, because first of all they would just react. So, I mean, the reaction is just keeping quiet. I mean, what is knowledge? No one knows that. Yeah? All others are quickly on the Google or now presently on ChatGPT asking what is knowledge. And I told them, I don't want an answer that is coming from a particular source. I just want to, what do you think? Because you people, you know something. You claim that you know. In fact, you claim that you know me. What is it that you have? I mean, so, what is that knowledge? I mean, what is to know? So, I mean, it was very good at the beginning. One of them certainly raised up the hand and said that it is having information. Then, of course, I just wrote somewhere the chalkboard information. And then I asked the same the guy. It was a lady. This information you're saying that serving information. What kind of information is knowledge? Then she appeared lost. Then I asked, there's a guy who was just next to her, who was called Maureen. And at least I asked, do you know Maureen? She told me she knows. And I asked her, suppose someone tells that Maureen is a bad girl, and you claim that you know that Maureen is a bad girl on the basis of that information? Because you have information, yes, but can you claim that you know? Does possessing information mean knowing? Example.
Okay, Patrick.
So that,
okay,
for example,
that is good. So, Patrick,
yes.
Basically, you are saying you have used some of these elements and they have worked, or you have felt that the students have been able to follow you, or?
Yeah, the gist of it is that I've used them, and I mean some of them, and they have led to others. Like now that of the reading question that I asked this girl now opened the minds of others, and they more started saying other things. And the class started participating on base of that. So I think it's a very good opening. I mean, and then we just then went to a small story and then continued. But at the end, at the beginning, it was just a reaction was just no one wants to talk. But now eventually they're not just talk. I mean, it's just they broke the ice and went on.
Okay, good.
That's my take.
So maybe just to answer Raymond, I mean, why don't we like having fun in class? You know, yeah. Okay, there is Susie. Susie, your hand is up. Yes. Okay. And
All
Susie,
right.
I'll get back to you. I still have your work. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Very well. So my first reflection on the lesson plan, it's something I've been doing, but then now I'm able to see it more clearly when you've given it the right title and the right wording for it. But I'm thinking if you have a sort of like a mind map for the whole of the course, then I think each lesson will tie into that graphical representation, so that even when you're explaining or coming to class to teach a particular topic or unit, then students can see how this fits into the whole, but then also what have we covered up to now, what remains, and what is the relationship between all of these 12 things that we are doing the whole semester, and how they tie in together. So I think the lesson plan would fit into the whole of the graphical mind map for the course. And then I think that the bridging and the participations, I think they provide examples in class. So sometimes we have examples to be able to deliver content, but once the students are participating or it's coming from a story, then maybe those examples tie in better to the realities of their own lives. I found that they also bring in some things that are out of class, so outside of the content, but very helpful towards learning, or an opportunity just to explain some life elements and have a discussion around that. So it's content, all right, but then also a perspective about life and some things they're going through.
Yeah, I like what you have said about at times the bridging will even come in at the participatory point. So don't just, I mean, it is not a straight, it is not chronological like this. Bridging, outcome, each time you go to class, bridging, outcome, learning outcome, pre-assessment, no. Yeah. So it could be in the middle of the class, then you just realize that, wow, this story really can bring out the reality of this topic, and that becomes the motivation, what hooks in the students, and I think they will be able to get the gist of the lesson. But then I remember one time when I trained some teachers, and the bridging, I think, was so good that the students forgot about the learning outcomes. So when they were being assessed, they talked about the bridging instead of talking about, yeah, so just make sure that whatever you use, if it is a short story, a video clip, it is related, it is just to hook in the students in the lesson. It is not what they should produce, but they can refer to it. Okay. Yeah, so one last reflection on that, and then we can move on. Anybody else who wants to say something? So I had picked on Wilson. Can I hear your voice again? If you're there.
Hello, Dr.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for the content that you're doing today. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with my colleagues who have spoken before. That actually I've realized that, let me use myself, is that I may not be following the whole sequence of the 6. I might just be doing maybe 2 or 3, but at least my mind is now broadened. I can be able to follow the sequence.
Oh,
I thank
okay.
you.
Okay, so this pre-assessment is actually good, yeah? Always try, find out what the students know. And you see, when you get this knowledge from them, then they will be with you throughout the class. They'll be like, oh, they'll now start following. So from where they are to where you want them to be. And then the participatory learning, for those of us who are not there last week, remember, engage these students in the 6 learning types if you can. Yeah, so in class, acquisition, most of the time, if they can do it outside class, investigation, they can do it out of class. Most of it should be out of class. Then you start with the class discussion, the practice, the collaboration, and the production. Okay, yeah, and then always post-assess. Yeah, I remember there's a time when PowerPoint slides, I think SCCA had prepared PowerPoint slides for classes. And I went to class and for a whole hour, I projected, the material and everything else. But at the end of it all, I just told myself, let me find out what the students have been learning. The class was quiet. They had not learned anything. I had to start afresh. Okay. Yeah, so this post-assessment is really key. Just stop and ask your students one thing you've learned today, one thing that has surprised you. That 1-minute paper is really key, yeah? Or just talk to your friend, then after that, pick one of them. What is it that you discuss? And then from there, you can go deep, okay? Then, of course, summary and closure is key. Okay, fine. I think now we should be able at least to have this structure. And as I said, and as Raymond was saying, it's not like you must prepare. Yeah. But if you prepare it the first time, all that you need to do now is just to improve on it. And also, as I said last time, we have the learning designer. I've prepared actually my lessons in the learning designer. And when I get that unit after a year of, we teach these units after 1 year. So the question is, what did you do and how can you improve? So you can also structure according to that. Okay. And I basically, unless somebody has a question on the 4 sessions, some clarification, do we need clarification? I want us to look at the framework.
Sorry, what is
Yes.
that learning designer? Because maybe I missed something.
Yeah, you missed, but what you'll do, David, it is, if you can actually check it online by UCL, so you can plan your lesson in a learning design. I don't want to go into it today.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
And then keep it, yeah, so so instead of having it in your files, writing it down, you just design it in there. But David will take people through one of these good days. Okay, fine. Anything else? Shama? Any reflection?
Nothing from me. It's amazing. I really have enjoyed all the sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, please do more.
No, I want you now to implement. Okay, fine. So let us look at this framework. No, before you look at the framework, for those of us who are thinking of promotion, you will have a shock. So I'll take you through the teaching portfolio, but this is...
Sorry, Dr. Omingo, someone had raised her hand. I think Teresa.
Oh, okay, Teresa, good.
Okay.
Teresa, yes, yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So I just wanted to say thank you. It has been an insightful moment and also a great opportunity for us to improve our classroom teaching. Starting from next week. What I wanted to comment about is the teaching portfolio, which you have already mentioned, which you have just mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is what I want. Okay, I'll go through it quickly. But for those of you, okay, if you've gotten your PhD, So this is what you'll be required to start keeping, maintaining, for you to move into senior lecturer. You need all these documents. Okay. So application, recommendation letter, selected journal articles. So this is a requirement which is on our intranet. These other things are not there. Teaching portfolio is just one of them. Then academic stuff. So for this session, what you could do, I put the what did I do? I put the schedule on e-learning, so you can download it and keep it in a file because it shows the dates. So it would be evidence for you each time you go through any stuff academic. Yeah, have some evidence somewhere. And then you also have book chapters and conferences. So please keep those letters that you receive, confirmations, yeah, administrative and industry reports. So in case university service appointments, so those letters that you get from people and culture, please put them in a folder. Okay, commendations, yeah, membership of professional organization, research grants, and any other. Yeah, so for you to, it is not just a teaching portfolio that will be required, but all this. So you can take a snapshot if you don't. Yeah, so if you're thinking of becoming a senior lecturer, I don't know about being just a lecturer. That one, I think it requires fewer documents. Yeah, it took me time to do this. Okay, yeah. So start keeping your evidence now. Don't wait, because it can take you a whole year just looking for that evidence in your files. So each time you get a student, the student evaluation, have a file for that, because that is what a portfolio is all about. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not scaring you. I just got shocked when I was sent that. So that is why I thought it is better I share with you. It's not just a teaching portfolio that is required. All those documents are required. Okay. You can see my
Can
screen.
I ask something?
Yes.
Are you continuing on it? Put the portfolio.
That's what I want to do now.
Okay, I'll ask after you finish.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So when it comes to a teaching portfolio is made up of your teaching philosophy. To write a teaching philosophy, you normally have a session 2 hours, then you can write one. And then teaching responsibilities, teaching effectiveness, and teaching development activities. So basically what those of us who have gone through the 4 sessions, you can have that, yeah? So the teaching philosophy is just developing a sense of your teaching. What are your beliefs, your attitudes, and all that. And then, of course, the teaching responsibilities, you set a criteria. But what I found useful, actually in AMS, if you go in AMS, it gives you your history of the classes that you have taught. It also gives you the number of students. So you can prepare a table from AMS, and then of course you'll have the research, the supervision of students, and all that. So teaching effectiveness, this is now where you need to write quite a bit, okay? And then finally we have the evidence on teaching development. So what is the evidence? I've just told you that schedule can actually show that you attended. There are these online courses that we attend, and at the end of it all you get a certificate. Please take that certificate and file it. Yeah, so just have folders for all those things. And then that, okay? So basically this is what a teaching philosophy is all about. And as I have said, this one, it is a session on its own. Teaching responsibility, you don't need to be trained on. So you just need to find out what have I been doing. And then the teaching development activities, you can talk about them. But the question would be, what is it that you can say about your teaching effectiveness? And Raymond, now this is where what we've been doing becomes important. So if you've not done something over and above the norm, and that is why I took the theory path, so you need to support your effectiveness. How do you know that you are effective? You can only do that by supporting it using the theory. Yeah, so when it comes to the teaching philosophy, you just need to develop a sense of your teaching and strategically position your teaching philosophy. And this teaching philosophy, you'll relate it to literature. So I can't do this today, but we can have a session on that. And then the teaching philosophies, you set a criteria for that and all that. Yeah, I think that is all that I wanted to show you from here. So the question would be, how do we show our effectiveness? Sorry, I have many things there. How do we show our effectiveness? And what I felt like, what I did was to use the PSF. So we'll be killing two birds with one stone. Okay, you can get this on Advanced HE. So you have teaching philosophy. These are your beliefs, your attitudes toward teaching. How you assess the things we've just gone through. You are writing about your beliefs, something at the back of your mind, you make it explicit, okay? But then when it comes to teaching effectiveness, this will really help. Yeah? We have these dimensions. Yeah. And your teaching effectiveness would be on how do you design and plan learning? I think this is what we did in the first session. How do you teach and support learning through appropriate approaches? That is what we did in the third session. Yeah. How do you assess and give feedback? Okay. And then support and guide learners, and then enhance practice. So this can give you a framework to work with under teaching effectiveness, instead of just saying, I'm effective in providing feedback, this is what you do. But for you to be able to do that, you'll have to support what you have written. For example, why do you use problem, what do you call it? Socratic method in, let's say, philosophy, yeah? And you can say that this is how learners generally learn within this particular subject. Why do I use cases, let's say in SBS? Because that brings reality to the class, and that is how business, schools, students learn. So you support that using the core knowledge or the professional values. Yeah. So we are not just doing this for the sake of it. Why is it that when I group my students, I'm grouping them in a certain way? Because I respect individual learners and diverse groups of learners. So you get your reasons why you do this, why you do these areas of activity from here. So why am I using peer instruction? I want to promote engagement in learning and equity of opportunity, all to reach their potential, you see. So you don't just do it for the sake of it. So these professional values and core knowledge normally assist us to support what we are doing here. And you can take this bit and put it in your teaching portfolio under teaching effectiveness. But you can also use this to apply for fellowship. Okay. Can I stop there and get some reaction?
Sorry, your last statement, what does that mean? You can apply for fellowship.
That is what I want to go to next.
Okay, then let me ask a basic question. So I am currently doing mine, and as you say, it takes time. I started somewhere in early February, and it is quite a process. But one of the things that I I had a problem with the name because as lecturers, we are not only teachers, we are also researchers. So I've actually renamed mine as Teaching and Research Portfolio. I don't know whether I am wrong doing that.
This one is on your teaching. This is okay. Research will come in under teaching. I mean, if scholarship of teaching, but a teaching portfolio is about your teaching. You can use research in your teaching, but it is not the traditional research, the discipline research. It is about scholarship of teaching and learning. So a teaching portfolio is just a teaching portfolio, and it is about your teaching, not your research. It can only be research. Research will come in when you're talking about, let me just go back to scholarship of teaching and learning here.
So is there a research portfolio then? Because I know the teaching portfolio already requires you to put in your conferences and journals. So when we are doing that, are we not?
No. So your journals will be, that is, your journals are different. You're not going to put that in your teaching portfolio. Your teaching portfolio is made up of teaching philosophy, teaching responsibilities, teaching effectiveness, and your professional development. Those 4 areas. Okay.
The template from offer requires us to put.
Those are okay. Let me just go back and show you that, Raymond. Yeah.
Teaching portfolio template requires you to say all those other things. So is that a teaching portfolio? Or is it now another thing? Is it another document?
Okay, let me not. So this is what it is. Teaching portfolio on its own. Okay. Then you'll have your journal articles on their own.
So the teaching portfolio is on its own. But the template we get, okay, then maybe then the naming, because everyone tells you have to have a teaching portfolio. Then when I ask them for a template, they share with me all these 1 to 12, and they call it portfolio.
So all these are not teaching portfolio. The teaching portfolio is only number 4. But these other ones are more of evidence, which some of them will go into the teaching, into these related exhibits. Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I started calling it a teaching and research portfolio, because if you look at it that way, the exhibits are beginning to talk about you as a researcher. But anyway, we can debate about it. But I got confused because I had the same mind you had raised when everyone kept telling me teaching portfolio, teach. I knew it is okay. How do I teach? How effective am I? But when I saw the document, the template that came, it was all these things. Then I realized, no, but this is not teaching. This is what I do as a lecturer in the university. So my 20% research and my teaching and all the other activities I'm involved in. That's what I concluded, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, it is about your teaching, not anything else. Okay, but as you can see here, you'll bring in your scholarship of teaching, which is research. So if you write papers on here, use scholarship or research or professional learning or other evidence-informed approaches as a basis for effective practice. And this effective, if you're using this research, even in your discipline, to support your teaching, then that is still part of the teaching portfolio. Okay. Yeah. But you're using it in your teaching. It is not a standalone.
But then that is okay. What I'm understanding from what your last couple of statements is that any scholarship I quote or any journals I quote should be there to support my teaching.
In the teaching portfolio, but you can have them independently.
Okay. Then it's an issue of semantic, because I've met Majid, I've met Edwin. I said, what a teaching portfolio you have to do. So then I look at the template, it has everything, and everyone calls it a teaching portfolio, but it's only one of the 12.
It is one of the 12. Yeah. Okay.
So there
fine.
is a confusion in terminology, I think, in the university. Thanks.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. So let me just go through this quickly. So we have different descriptors when it comes to fellowship now, and we would like, I mean, those of us who are interested would like you maybe to apply for this so that we can start now serious documentation of our teaching. Now we have descriptor 1, and descriptor 1 is suitable for individuals whose practice enables them to evidence some dimensions. Yeah. So this one, if you've just started teaching, you can apply for it, D1, yeah? And you'll find that you will not, you don't need to write on all the 5 areas of activity. You only write on at least 2, because the assumption here is you've not done, where were they again? This 5. So you can either just write on A1 and A5, yeah, at least 2. You don't need to write on all of them, yeah. So this is associate fellow. So you'll be recognized as an associate fellow. But as I've said, it is not just writing what you do in class. You need to support it with the theory. That is why we have those 2 books. Please read those chapters to support, to enhance your understanding, what you do in class, because you do some of these things, but they're not supported by theory. Then we have descriptor 2. This is for individuals whose practice with learners has breadth and depth, enabling them to evidence all the dimensions. So for a fellow, for you to be recognized as a fellow, you'll have to do all the 5, support that with all the core value and all the professional values. Okay. Yeah, so that is why it requires somebody who has been teaching for some time. And then descriptor 3, this is for senior fellow. So senior fellow, it is assumed that you can do what is what a fellow has done. And remember, you don't have to start with fellow. You can even start with senior fellow, okay? That is if you have made a difference in other people's lives. Practice that extends significantly beyond direct teaching and or direct support for learning. So it could be research, it could be a program. You need to write 2 cases. Maybe you developed a program and this is how it has impact. This is its impact and so on. Okay. Yeah, so this one takes a sustained record of leading and influencing practice. Then finally, we have the 4th one, which is principal fellow. And for a principal fellow, a highly experienced individual whose practice involves a sustained record. Yeah, so if we were to subscribe, because we need a critical mass, would only subscribe for 1 and 2. But if Strathmore subscribes, then individuals can apply for senior fellowship and they can be assisted. So that is the kind of information that I wanted to share with you. Yeah, you don't have to start with associate fellow and then fellow. No, if you think you've made a difference in other lecturers' life, or even in the universities, programs, research, then you can start with senior fellow. If you are not teaching involved directly, but you are in leadership, then you can apply for principal fellow. Yeah. So fortunately, I started off with fellow because that time I was teaching, and then now I did senior fellow. So I have these 2. And I think with that is what I wanted to share. So those of us who really want to become professional, that's what I said, professional teachers, we have to do what professionals do. When you think about the footballers, they practice every day. So the question is, why is it that we just want to walk to class, talk about what the little that we know and walk out? Why can't we make a difference in our own life and also the students' life? Yeah. So any question before maybe? Yeah, David, I've really eaten into your time. Yeah. So any question? So we can have a session just on the teaching portfolio, especially for people who are applying. So Raymond, so that those answers are physical ones, so that we can really answer those questions. Otherwise, a teaching portfolio is a document. That's why it is, that's why it is referred to as a teaching portfolio. It's about your teaching. And then what you apply for fellowship is a reflective journal. What is the difference? Reflective, you support that with those core values and professional. A teaching portfolio, you provide the exhibits. There has to be evidence. Yeah. So please just make sure that even if you've started teaching today, you'll start teaching next week, keep even those lesson plans, put them in a folder. Anything that you use in teaching, then your life will be very easy. Yeah, when it comes to writing a portfolio, it is a history. So it cannot be a day's work. Yeah, actually my portfolio, I started September last year. I finished January this year. And because January, I was sort of free. So looking for those documents is not easy. Okay, any other comment or question? But let us, we can do it. We can move. We can be promoted. Why not? Yeah, it's not as bad.
My question is around the fellowship issue you're mentioning. And sorry, sir, you're already raising your hands. For some reason I can't see the hand button. So I know initially you had said you need a critical mass of people for us to do the advanced HE, which is what I assume you're calling the fellowship, and it's a first level. So has that changed? Because I've already seen a link to get us there.
I have five people who have already documented, those ones who did in 2024. If I could have another 10, because it is normally a lot of work this year, and maybe by next year, because it's a process for us even to apply. Yeah, then we can get there.
Are you asking that we comment or suggest that we are interested? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. So
we have to do by
David will send up a registration link. Yeah.
Thank you.
Shama, your hand was up.
Yes, I wanted to ask, what are other examples of exhibits besides lesson plans that we are to save?
Many things, your course outline, your student evaluation. If, for example, a student even sends you a WhatsApp, make sure that, those thank yous and what have you. Yeah, something that you can say that it's because of your teaching. Yeah, something tangible. I don't know what else, but there are many things. Yeah. Okay. Any other?
Well, thank you so much for being there and helping us. Asante sana.
Okay, fine. Good. So for those of us who would like to know how to use a Padlet, you can maybe stay on for some 10 minutes. David will take you through how to use a Padlet. Okay. Dr. Masharia, David, have you seen Dr. Masharia around?
Not
No.
quite.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, so a Padlet is a collaborative tool. We've looked at Notebook, we've looked at Mentimeter, and now, it's really good. Yeah. Students, you can use it in your teaching, and you can now quote that I use softwares like, I don't know. Okay, fine. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you'll do something about it. This has helped in your teaching.
And just before I start, Dr. Omingo, I wanted to comment that last year, one of the people who attended the ISW told me that sometimes they use AI when they don't know how to do BOPs properly for their particular lesson. So you can probably use Notebook LM to ask it based on these notes. What can be my bridging what can be my objective. So if you're just starting out, use all the help you can get from AI, so it can make your work a bit easier if you really want to implement this. So thank you, Dr. Omingo, for that.
Okay,
all right.
good.
So for many of you who attended the academic staff workshop last week, but early March, you might have participated in this. All of the groups, we had, I think, 25 of them. We created this using Padlet. It's a tool that's free to use. And you can see the utility of how when you have your class that has maybe 40 or 50 people, you split them into groups and all of them start commenting and seeing what their other members are commenting. So it becomes sort of like a shared whiteboard where you can see people typing their group output in real time. So this is quite a useful tool. We don't have quite the institutional license for it like we have Mentimeter, but if we see demand is up for it, we will lobby the powers that be to support us to get a corporate license for it. So for those of you who have used it before, you probably are familiar with it. If not, just go to padlet.com. And I'll just take about 5 minutes. I don't want to take too long. So if you go to padlet.com on your computer, this is what you'll see. So this is padlet.com on your computer. And what you'll see is this big, is it pink or red button here saying sign up. If it's your first time, sign up. If you've been here before, go and log in. So if you just click on sign up, you will use your Strathmore email to sign in. Okay, so you can use your Strathmore email here, or if you just prefer to simplify, you can sign up with Google, right? And then you'll just create an account. It's a very straightforward process. It will send you a code telling you, okay, enter this code so that we verify you're the owner of the email. And those of you who are following along, you might be getting your code already. So because I already have an account, I will just go to login. Okay, so this is just standard opening account. I'll just use my password and I will log in. So this is how the interface should look like once we log in. It's pretty simple. It has on the left a few things, all Padlets, recent. So because we've used this tool many times, there are many Padlets. For you, probably it will be blank. And because I expect a majority of you will be on the free account, since we don't have a corporate subscription, you are allowed to have only 3 Padlets, right? And I can see that the first thing you will see is make a Padlet. It's the very first option here. So you'll click on that. And because of my time that is limited, I will only demo how to create that one for the group, similar to what we had at the academic staff workshop. So I will click on column. And of course, it will ask me what is the title of my Padlet. I can give it the name of my class, assuming I'm teaching I don't know, fundamentals of accounting, something like that. Maybe that's the name of my unit, and I'll give it that name. And you can see right ahead, it's giving me sections, right? So here I can give this something like group A, and I'll say done. And then I'll do another section here, and I'll call it group B. And I'll say done, and I'll do the third section, which I'll call group C. So that's it for now. And now when you have created these groups, what you can do for all the members who are in group A, you will just come and click here and copy breakout room link, right? So you copy that. And now you go to their WhatsApp group or, somewhere and give them their link. So all the people who are in group A will be able to enter entries that only come and populate below group A, similar to what we are seeing here. So everyone who was on table A was only able to access their particular Padlet. But now you as the lecturer can see everything. On their end, they are seeing only their side, and you as the lecturer have what we call the bird's eye overview. Similar for group B and similar for group C. I think that's pretty straightforward, right? A few more things that I want to maybe talk about is at the top right of my screen, there are a few options that we can look at, but I want to focus on two. One is the share and one is the settings. So let me start with the settings. The settings is at the top right of my screen, and it's shaped like a gear icon. This one here, where you see my mouse is hovering. You click that, and you'll be able to see many of the settings pertaining to this tablet. So if you want to change the look and feel, you want something more vibrant rather than the purple. In fact, someone was telling me yesterday that purple is a mark that your thing was generated by AI, because AI loves purple gradients for some reason. You can come and look for something here, a texture, a pattern, something different, something vibrant. If I want something that is a bit mathematics, because I'm in accounting, I can do that. If I don't like how that looks like, I can just quickly change my wallpaper and put something like that. Yes, so you can see how in 2 clicks you quickly change how it looks. You can give it a description. These are colors and fonts, so you can play around with this based on your own style and preferences. The format we already chose was columns at the start. What I want to draw your eye to is the new post position. When someone makes a new post, do you want it to be the first entry or the last entry? So I usually recommend the first. So that it sort of surfaces on top. Every new entry by your students can come to the top. Author, you can leave this on. It's on by default. Can people comment on other people's posts, right? So you can leave this as on. Reactions, we usually recommend people turn it off so that students can just focus on reading what the other colleagues of theirs have posted, rather than focusing on how many likes or upvotes that their comments have received, so that it's no longer competitive, it's more objective. We are just evaluating the merit of the comment that is posted, okay? And yeah, if you want to moderate entries, this is where you do it. You can choose to moderate all the entries that people are doing by selecting manual all, or you can allow the AI that Padlet uses to auto-moderate every entry that people put. So if you want to protect your Padlet so that no one else in the subscription can see it, this is where you do it. So you disable people from viewing or even making your Padlet. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to share. And the last one, because I'm seeing we are way past time, is how to share this Padlet with people. So we've already seen how we can share the individual groups by just clicking on the right and copying the breakout room link and sharing it with the group. But let's say you want everyone to be able to see the bird's eye view. Yes.
Now, the other problem, I think, is how do the students make entries? Because I think navigating is normally an issue, yeah.
Yes. So if I am a student in group A, I will be able to see something like this, but it will only be showing group A. So all that the students will do is they'll see something like group A and plus. All they'll do is come and click here and add a post. Okay, so my entry, for example, and they will be able to, write some text of what they have discussed in the group. Okay, they can upload a picture. They can take, in fact, one of the use cases that I've seen Dr. Masharia using this for is he uses Padlets to get all of them to introduce themselves. So this can be a Padlet of introduce yourself. So you take a picture of yourself and upload it. So you can click camera and it will open my camera. I don't know. My camera has a bit of an issue, but someone can take a picture or they can upload something. They can upload their own picture similar to email, and you can see, they can say my name is John, something like that. And one interesting thing about myself is ... and they can put their picture. So on an overview, you can see all your students, so that even if you've forgotten someone's name, you can simply quickly go back to the Padlet and you can be able to familiarize yourself with this particular student. So you can see this is what the students will be seeing as they are entering their entries. So if they had a picture, they'd put it there. So to close out, just the quick one, how to share this. Would you want visitors to see your Padlet? This is people who don't have, people don't have to log in. So if you want people to see your Padlet, just come and make it a reader. So anyone with your link can view what is going on at the Padlet level. You don't want the visitors to be writing or commenting. This is give them read access only. You can leave this as is, or you can give them more privileges. If you want to show it on the school dashboard, this will apply when we get a corporate license for everyone. You can toggle this on. For now, I'll keep it off. We won't give it a password right now. Do we want people to log in to view the Padlet? I would say no, because sometimes, as the Padlet Dr. Omingo shared with us, if everyone had to log in, we wouldn't be able to view it on the go. So if you want to force people to log in to view your Padlet, it's fine, but you want mostly to turn this off. And then the last thing is if you want to get a QR code for the entire thing, it's here. And if you want a link, you copy it there, and it copies onto your clipboard, and then you can paste it there, and you can see. So this is what your students see. And because I am out of time, I will do individual follow-ups for anyone who wants to get more into Padlet.
David?
Yes.
So how do students in Group A see Group B's work and Group C's work?
By sharing the entire Padlet. You see the way we've shared here.
So
yes.
After they have entered,
yes.
when they are entering, you only give Group A the rights to enter under Group A, but thereafter now you share with the whole class.
Yes, you share the entire thing here. Yes. Thank you for that question. Yeah. So in case you want some more clarification on Padlet, just write me an email, CTE or D.Irungu, that's my personal email, and I will walk you through a bit more in depth, and maybe you can start using it better. So thank you all very much for joining us today, and I hope you have a great Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So have a blessed Easter. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. Omingo.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Bye.